The first boss in the ruins, the Necromancer, will be your first major speed bump along your way towards dominating the darkest dungeon. But by knowing how the fight works and tweaking your team, you'll be killing him in no time. Hi, I'm Epokk from Minigame Guides, and this is my guide for the Necromancer. Let's talk about everything you can expect while fighting the boss, and afterwards we'll run down everything you can do to turn the fight in your favor. Now his first skill, 6 feet under, now this is a fairly weak attack, influences the whole party. Now while this attack doesn't cause a lot of damage, it will stress your whole party for a good amount. The Clawing Death deals fair damage to the last two heroes and may inflict some negative effects. The Flash is willing, deals fair damage to the first two heroes and has a fairly high crit chance. Now while his attacks aren't that special, it's actually the skeleton in the room that we need to talk about. Now the Necromancer will always start in position 1. Each time he uses an attack, he creates a skeleton enemy in the first spot, steadily pushing himself back until he's in position 4, where his attacks no longer spawn anything. His attacks do not have to hit a hero in order to trigger this ability, therefore the only way to stop him from summoning a mission in turn is either to stun him or for there to be already 3 skeletons in the fight. Corpses do not block this ability either, they will simply be replaced by newly summoned skeletons. Depending on the difficulty you're fighting him at, he will spawn different enemies. The Bone Rabble is the standard enemy mob you fought until now. The Bone Soldier is the slightly stronger version of the Bone Rabble, but these should not be much of an issue to you. But the next two will ramp up difficulty a lot more. The Bone Defenders have more armor and will guard their friends, making it harder to vanquish them. The Bone Captain is a whole different story. Its main ability is a ground pound, a mighty smash that can stun your entire party. Sometimes it can perform a single bone crushing strike aimed at one of your frontline troopers, dealing massive damage and making it more likely that they will be stunned. Now this fight can basically be split up into 3 parts that you need to prepare for. Killing the boss, ad management, and keeping everyone alive. Now depending on the difficulty you're playing at, you may need to prioritize one more than the other. Now typically to keep everyone alive, a single Vestal will be enough. With Divine Comfort and Divine Grace, she can keep the party alive long enough for the others to succeed at the 3 other parts. In addition to that, she also has the ability to stun enemies and deal extra damage to unholy mobs, so let's just immediately place a Vestal in her 3rd spot, because that's the place she's more comfortable in, and I'm very comfortable when she's there. Now we need to be able to kill the ads fairly quickly so we don't get overrun. Now the best character you will have in your roster is undoubtedly the Crusader. He has bonus damage against holy mobs, so he can deal a good amount of damage in this battle, as both the skeletons and the boss are unholy. Now if you're playing on Apprentice, the Crusader is more than enough to deal quickly with the ads. If you're playing on Veteran, you may just want to have a second character to help you out with ad management, as the Bone Defenders will make it harder to kill them quickly. We'll go into potential classes for this second slot in a second. Now, an Apprentice, the easiest form of the Necromancer, a Plague Doctor or Grave Robber is all you need to grind down the boss. Blight is extremely powerful against the Necromancer and will slowly but surely kill him. On Apprentice, you can use your second DPS slot right next to the Vestal and the Crusader to help kill the boss even quicker. If you are playing on Veteran, I would just go once again with a Vestal, a Plague Doctor or a Grave Robber, and the Crusader, plus an extra one that can help with the skeletons. Now if you're playing on Champion difficulty, we kinda need to throw out ad management and completely focus on keeping everyone alive and burning down the boss quickly, because you really don't want to be on the receiving end of a Bone Captain in this fight. Now he can stun your whole party and overwhelm them by a lack of healing, damaging the boss and the stress-inducing attacks of the boss. So first of all, we can prevent a Bone Captain from showing up by simply not killing the weaker Bone Soldiers. There can only be 3 skeletons in the fight at any time, so if all slots are filled, the boss can't summon any more. Now you just need to be able to heal through their attacks, but you can help out your Vestal by bringing, for example, a Man-at-Arms to guard your weaker party members from attacks, or just bring a character that can stun lock enemies easily. While talking about stun locking, that is a different way that you can take on the boss. Just keep stun locking him, so preventing him to attack and summon a skeleton that turn. Now, like mentioned before, the Vestal has a stun, so does the Crusader, the Plague Doctor. In addition, you can bring, for example, an Abomination, a Bounty Hunter, a Man-at-Arms, a Hellion, and so on for even more stun abilities. As long as you keep the boss stunned, he will not be able to attack you or summon a new skeleton that turn. Now, in case you want to use a melee heavy party or just want to keep the boss on the front lines, you can also bring a bounty hunter and a cultist. That way you can pull the boss 2 slots forward, giving you the perfect opportunity to deal some raw damage or induce even more damage over time effects from up close. Now, these are the tricks I've used in the past to dominate the Necromancer. I think the best strategy for the hardest difficulty is a bit of a combination of all these tips. But if you have any tips of your own, please share them in the comments down below so I might learn something as well. If you want any more guides for the Darkest Dungeon, just check out this playlist where I run through everything you need to survive and thrive in the Darkest Dungeon. I want to thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one. See ya!